Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm working on this 2015 Mustang GT. Alright, what you're going to need to do is get a socket set and make sure that you have a 7mm. There'll be 2 bolts that you have to remove to get this actual shifter bezel off. Now take your time to get those bolts off, and once you get them off you can remove this plastic piece that you're going to be taking the bolts off of, which will release the shifter bezel in the front, and then you're going to have to pull the pins or these little plastic tabs on the bottom of the shifting knob chrome piece that allows you to go into the backup, or known as your reverse gear. Now, I would put these bolts in some area that you can't lose them. Don't judge my car for being a little bit dirty. These are also cars that I drive on a daily, and I'm constantly working on things in between any sort of medical things that I have going on in my daily job. I don't always have the time to clean each car extensively to the show car level. I usually do vacuuming and cleaning out the outside of the car at least once a week, but right now it's been colder out and I've been dealing with some major problems with rust on another car. But right back to it, the reason why I'm redoing this is because the chrome trim actually peeled at one point, so it was painted and then the paint started to peel, so then I went on and put a vinyl wrap around it. That started to loosen up from the heat and stuff like that. So now I'm going to pull it off again, and then of course it broke in my hands as I'm pulling it out, so I had to reassess that and feel out how I'm going to re-adhere the 2 panels. Alright, I brought it inside so I can clean it up with some multi-purpose cleaner as you saw before, and now I'm going to assess how I'm going to re-secure it. Some of the tabs broke off already. This is a 2015. This was another donor piece, but as you can see here, I had to go into it and assess what I'm going to do to re-secure this 2 pieces together, and then I can wrap it first before I re-secure them together. As I was showing you, the plastic also is breaking where the leather or vinyl was plastic welded the 2 pieces together. What I do, like this stitch line as you could see there where the 2 things are pressed together. Alright, I finished it up. I wrapped it with some suede, and then I re-glued it together and pressed it with some epoxy. I also fixed the plastic between where they do like that hot heat press stitching between the vinyl and the plastic to hold it together. And then I re-glued the chrome, mock chrome piece, aluminum, whatever you want to call it, for the shifter where you can pull up for reverse, back on to the boot, and then this way, this is all complete. Alright, let's go back sliding it back on. First, you click in the reverse gear bezel, then we could slide it down. As you can see, those little orange clips have to go in those slots to hold it in. That'll help hold in the sides, and I'll press it down. As you can see here, I'm working it and making sure that it went down evenly. This way I can have a adequate lineup and pressure so that the bolts can hold it down without putting too much pressure on the plastic itself. Again, as you can see, it's already fragile and was broken before I repaired it and then put it back together with the new fabric. Alright, we're going to install that trim that goes up in the front by your head unit. Now grab those 2 bolts that you have, and that way we can work it and get it back in there, and this will hold down the shifter bezel in the front. And all you need to do is get your 7mm, select whatever wrench you want to use with an extension, and crank those back down with just enough torque, and we can pretty much guess it. You don't need a torque wrench, and don't over torque it because you could break the plastic. You don't need to use an impactor or anything electrical. I recommend just using normal hand wrenches to tighten this down. As you can see, you could just take your time twisting it and maneuvering it, and then this way those 2 bolts can go in nice and square and not strip anything out and hold it down adequately. Alright, as you can see here, we're almost done. You can install your shifting knob. If you have the factory one, it goes on a little differently, but I have an aftermarket one. As you can see here, I'm going to spin this nut down to a certain area. That will allow it to go up just enough and activate your reverse gear and not let the collar hit the inside of the shifting knob. Alright, as you can see here, everything is all back together, and I'm looking at the finished product. I'm really happy with what the results were, especially with all the defects that was going on with the bezel itself. And I'm really happy I was able to get a 3rd time out of it, because this is a constant car that's stored outside. I do have a protector from the sun, and the windows do have protection cutting out some of the UV, so I'm trying to save the interior as much as I can until I can get my car stored inside. Alright, thanks again guys for staying tuned. This is how you can redo your shifter bezel if you want to rewrap it, if you're having problems with it like I did. That's why I recovered mine in the first place, to give it a fresh new look and extend its life again. Remember to like and subscribe and check out all my merch for sale. Check out my eBay channel and Macari channel too. And thanks again guys.